audio toolbox.
I love it because it's so portable.
Gotta download the Odyssey app for sure.
From KDAWN.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the #1 professional wrestling radio show in Las Vegas. This is the Mark Hoke Show. The Mark Hoke Show. Going bell to bell with the best in professional wrestling news, entertainment, and lots of Sin City surprises from inside the squared circle. Now, let's get to all the exciting pro wrestling action and bring on the host. Here is Mark Hoke.
And good morning, Las Vegas. What's going on? Welcome to the Mark Hoke Show here on KDAWN 101.5 FM, the talk of Las Vegas. If you have been flying around Las Vegas and seeing everybody, well, you know, a lot of crazy people out there, you know, chanting things like John Cena sucks and all that stuff. Well, you should know why. It's WrestleMania weekend here in Sin City, and we're very happy to have all of you here visiting us, or you wrestling fans in Las Vegas having a great time. We certainly hope you're all enjoying yourselves no matter what, even when you're stuck waiting for an Uber, which I could have told you would be a disaster. But anyway, oh man, what a day. And we're going to be talking about what happened at WrestleMania yesterday and some of the other really cool things that went on this week here in Las Vegas. And we're also going to have Stu Myrick coming in a little bit later on in the show, but we want to kick things off. Of course, TNA was here this week with TNA Unbreakable, and we were very excited that we got a chance to have with us in studio, paying a little visit to get things ready, the TNA World Champion, Joe Hendry, joined us, and we're going to hear that interview right now. So hang on to your hats, kids. It's the man himself, TNA champ, Joe Hendry. All right, everybody, we are on the Mark Hoke Show, and I tell you what, I just get so lucky getting TNA World Champions in the building. It is exciting, but this one's a little bit special. Yeah, look at that. That belt is so nice. It's so nice. Joe Hendry is in the house, the TNA World Champion. Welcome, Joe.
Hello, my friend. How are you?
I am doing fantastic. Very happy to have you join us here in Las Vegas. And are you happy being back in Vegas, man? This is where a lot of incredible things have happened to you in your career.
Absolutely. This is where I won my first championship in TNA wrestling. It was the Digital Media Championship. I won it in 2022. So now to be sitting here a couple years later with the world title, it's a very good feeling.
Yeah, and it's been such an interesting road for you to get there. And I really felt like when I was there at Hard to Kill about a year and a half ago, I just felt like there was something special going on with you, that there was something big was coming. Did you start to get a feel about that when you had the song and the parody and kind of nailed AJ Francis and where everything went from there?
There was a couple of moments where I thought, okay, we're on to something here. The first moment where I was like, oh, this is getting pretty big, was I was in Philadelphia and the reaction was just huge. Like I'd never experienced like that intense a reaction. It was at the 2300 arena, and it was me and AJ Francis cutting promos back and forth, and I was like, oh, this is we're on at something here. That was a huge reaction. There was another one where I did a big huge I think it was like this sounds crazy, but it was like a 20-person tag or something like that, or I can't remember the exact number, but it was just the biggest tag match in terms of the number of people that TNA had ever done. And I remember the reaction for me there was, I was like, okay, we may be on to something. But yeah, that concert that I did for AJ Francis, that went perfectly. It was the same week that my song came out, and it was just that, and it was around the same time as Philadelphia, and all those things coming together, and it's just been a roller coaster ever since.
I just also like to tell you that one other sign from you was I couldn't stop singing that darn song.
Yeah, I get that a lot.
I get that a lot. It just never goes away. And then when you marketed that, and for people that don't know, you have a master's degree in business and marketing. When you decided to make the push globally, and it ended up being a huge hit, what was the feeling like to see that work out the way that it did? Because it was the number one song in a bunch of countries. Should have hit number one here. We were close, but an amazing marketing ploy on your part that you pulled off. And I can only imagine what was going on through your head when you were seeing the numbers.
Well, this is what's interesting about it. You know how you can boost posts on social media and things like that, and you can take out ads on social media. Guess what our total spend was for that campaign?
I'm going to say zero.
It was absolutely $0. We have never spent money promoting the song, and it's been all organic. And I think because it was all organic, we had to just really challenge ourselves to come up with good ideas. But yeah, this time last year, I had 18 or 19,000 Instagram followers, and I have 360,000 on that platform. And at that point, it was just saying, look, I was trying to dress for you got to dress for the job you want. I was like, if I want to be champion, if I want to be like in the, the leader of this promotion, if you will, then I need these metrics do not match up with that. So we put in a strategy, we put that in place, and we executed it. And it is amazing, like what can happen if you actually just plan for success. There's hundreds, thousands of people who have got 6-figure followings on Instagram and other social media platforms. So there must be some techniques to it. There must be some rules that are true across the board. It turns out there are so many things that you can do to optimize your content that people don't do. Simple things. And we started doing them all, and we executed a really good campaign, and that's what's got me to where I am today.
Do you want to give anybody tips out there about how they could do what you did?
Sure. Okay, so I'll give you, I could talk on this all day, but I'll just pick Instagram as an example. What you have to do is you have to have respect for the platform. So for example, if you're on YouTube, your goal is to have people click on a video. On Instagram, if it's Reels, they have to not scroll on to the next one. Those are two very different things. YouTube is a destination, whereas for something like Instagram, you must hook them in the first half a second, in my opinion. So if I'm thinking, I do the spin around in the video, you'll notice on my posts, you don't see the full spin. And then I start whatever I'm doing. Like I did a viral post the other day. It's at 500,000 hits on Instagram, which there was a bunch of people dressed as Joe Hendry singing the song. The song doesn't start with us facing away and then spinning around. It happens 3/4 of the way through the spin. So people understand what's going on, but there's no wasted motion. They stick around for whatever comes next. And that's the hook of the video. So there's that. You must post at a high resolution, use portrait, wherever possible. Do not post landscape oriented photos or videos on Instagram. There's just, I could go on and on and on and on, but I could tell you, I really should write a book, to be honest, because I've really studied this pretty hard, and professional wrestlers need to know this stuff.
And it's interesting because it propelled your popularity to the point where you were everywhere. I mean, your face is showing up at races and games and all sorts of crazy stuff. And I can imagine it only just blew you away, and probably blew TNA away too, I would imagine.
Yeah, I mean, it still goes on as well. My song was played at the NCAA tournament finals, I believe, which is like, the president was there. So the president's heard the song, so it's like, when you think about that, it's, the song has been played everywhere. I was on the screen at, that huge stadium in Texas. I've been played at, NBA games. It's been played, like you say, NASCAR played it once. Like it's been played everywhere. And now it's in video games, mainstream video games as well. So the song really has taken on a life of its own.
Well, as has your career, because you are now the TNA world champion. Take us back to that night in January where it finally happened, because I was in this show screaming, get it on him. Just put the belt on him right now. Do it.
Where were you when we needed you?
I was right here, man. I was trying to help, but that night coming to you, what did that mean?
Yeah, it was. It's one of these things. I kind of thought it might happen at Slammiversary. That to me felt like that would have been the bold move. Let's do it then. Then to not do it at Bound for Glory, that was scary. that was scary. But then, I guess it all worked out because I don't know. I'm a great believer in that everything happens for a reason. And maybe if it had happened earlier, maybe it would have burnt out by now, whereas we're still going strong. And maybe that's because we had such a compelling build to winning the championship. So I kind of feel like everything happened for a reason. And also, I was very proud of the match that Nick and I had that night in the main event. And, the crowd was electric. I feel like we really did our job that night and, had family in attendance. It was a wonderful day.
How are you feeling about where TNA is right now? You guys are just absolutely on a roll. And I'm sure that's going to continue here in Las Vegas on Thursday night. It's been a heck of a ride for you guys. The stands are full. And, and there were times where that wasn't going on. So what do you think about the focus of the company right now?
Absolutely. I completely agree. It's a phenomenal time for the company. Business is up. And, your title reign can be defined by a number of different things. When people think of Joe Hendry as world champion and the Hardys as tag team champions, I want people to think of that era as, when business it went up. That I feel like we're we have such upward momentum right now. And my job as the champion is to bring as many people to TNA wrestling as possible, to bring as many eyes to the product as possible, and to contribute in that way, and to help the company grow and the business grow. And I feel that we're doing that every single show that we do. I feel that we're delivering that now. We have huge momentum.
All right, and we're going to take a commercial break, and when we come back, we are going to hear more from Joe Hendry, the TNA World Champion, plus a whole lot more as we break down what's been a wild week so far here in Las Vegas for WrestleMania. So stick around, everybody, for the Mark Hoke Show here on KDAWN 101.5 FM, the Talk of Las Vegas, the Odyssey app, and streaming out there on YouTube, X, and Facebook. You can join us there as well. We'll be right back, everybody.
Welcome to Yoga for Beginners, where we say yes to less stress and no to auto loan payments.
What? Say yes to less stress with One Nevada Credit Union's 90-day no pay. Finance your new or used car with us, or move your current auto loan and don't make any payments for 90 days. That could be close to $4,000 in your pocket. Say no to payments and yes to less stress with One Nevada Credit Union's 90-day no pay auto loans. Visit onenevada.org today. Federally insured by NCUA.
Welcome to Yoga for Beginners, where we say yes to less stress and no to auto loan payments.
What? Say yes to less stress with One Nevada Credit Union's 90-day no pay. Finance your new or used car with us, or move your current auto loan and don't make any payments for 90 days. That could be close to $4,000 in your pocket. Say no to payments and yes to less stress with One Nevada Credit Union's 90-day no pay auto loans. Visit onenevada.org today. Federally insured by NCUA.
Don't miss your chance to spring into deals at Lowe's. Right now, get a free 60-volt Toro battery when you purchase a select 60-volt Toro electric mower. Plus, buy 3 19.3-ounce vegetable and herb Bonnie plants for just $10. It's time to give your yard a grow-up. Lowe's, we help, you save. Valid through 4/23. Selection varies by location. While supplies last. Discount taken at time of purchase. Actual plant size and selection varies by location. Excludes Alaska and Hawaii.
While retinitis pigmentosa takes Mark's vision, his family gives him hope, whether at the family business or at home with his wife and sons. He knows he's not fighting alone. For 50 years, the Foundation Fighting Blindness has funded research into treatments and cures for blinding retinal diseases, providing hope to people with vision loss. And for Mark, winning the fight means being there for his family. The Foundation Fighting Blindness. Together, we're winning. Help us end blinding diseases at fightingblindness.org.
1 in 4 Americans have a disability. I'm one of them. I'm also a working mom who cares deeply about making sure every child with a disability thrives by getting their access needs met. We've got a trusted ally by our side. Easter Seals provides children and families the foundation for lifelong success through early learning programs, skills training, and prep for college and career. That's my Easter Seals. Make it yours. Join us at easterseals.com.
You know what's better than a limited time deal? An unlimited time deal. That's why the Wendy's $5 biggie bag with a junior bacon cheeseburger, 4-piece nugs, junior hot and crispy fries, and small soft drink is available all the time. Because the best time for fresh, never frozen beef and Applewood smoked bacon is all the time. Duh. I feel like I'm repeating myself a lot. For the best deal of all time, gotta be Wendy's.
Unlimited time does not mean forever. U.S. price and participation may vary. Prices may be higher in Alaska, Hawaii, and California and via third-party delivery. Fresh beef available in the contiguous U.S., Alaska, and Canada.
1015 FM KDAWN.
This is the Mark Hoke Show.
The Mark Hoke Show.
Here again, your host, Mark Hoke.
All right, everybody. Welcome back to the Mark Hoke Show here on KDAWN 1015 FM, the talk of Las Vegas, and streaming on YouTube, X, and Facebook, and worldwide on the Odyssey app, AUDACY. If you haven't downloaded that app, well, you know, sadness is just reigning in your mind. So get the Odyssey app right now and get rid of that and be happy. All right. All right, let's get back to our interview with TNA World Champion Joe Hendry. And we're on the Mark Hoke Show with TNA World Champion Joe Hendry. Then you got to mess around here with NXT and going on the Royal Rumble as well. The appearances on NXT were pretty awesome, but Joe, I can't imagine you are ever going to forget that night at the Royal Rumble. I mean, getting to have that fun with Sheamus and then standing there across from Roman Reigns. What was going through your head that night, and how are you feeling afterward?
I mean, yeah, it's pretty wild. You know, if again, I couldn't get on a TNA pay-per-view a year ago, whereas, you know, fast forward to the Royal Rumble and I'm facing off with Roman Reigns in, you know, what was, I believe, the third most watched PLE of all time. Or the third most attended PLE of all time if on a single day, if I do recall correctly. But in terms of viewership, I please don't quote me on this. It may or may not be, but it was certainly one of the most viewed professional wrestling events of all time. So, yeah, that was a huge honor. 70,000 people. I still haven't had time to process how amazing that was.
I can imagine. I mean, that, like you said, from being where you were until standing in that moment. Man,
it's great though. Like that's my whole brand, is that anything is possible when you believe in yourself, you know. And I really do believe that. I've always thought that I could do these things, and so it's for it to actually happen. And you know, I get messages all the time from people saying that they've been inspired by that, and it hasn't worn off. Like it's still. Every day I wake up and I just think it must be a dream of some kind. Like I had these visions when I was a teenager that I'd be doing all this stuff, but you get to a point in your 30s, your mid 30s, where you're like, you know, maybe I need to readjust what the dream looks like. And then nope, you know, there were other plans for me. So very grateful to be in the spot.
How are you feeling about the relationship with WWE and TNA? Because, you know, there's some people that are critical about it and some people really like it. What do you've certainly benefited from it, but, you know, but overall, how do you think I feel about it?
I feel pretty darn good. Look, at the end of the day, it's phenomenal for business. It's phenomenal for business. It's phenomenal for the fans. It's exciting matchups. It's tremendous for both companies. As someone who is on the inside and can see how this benefits us from a month-to-month basis, I think it's a wonderful thing, and I'm very grateful for it. It's changed my life.
So one thing that I always get excited about when I get a guy in that has wrestled amateur, you know, freestyle, Greco-Roman, folk style, I love to ask, what do you carry over from your background in there? And of course, very successful amateur wrestler. What do you carry into the ring from that? And how does it help you when you're trying to do different things in the ring, as opposed to maybe somebody that doesn't have that background?
The answer is nothing really, because like you know, who I am in the ring just couldn't be further away from who I was as an amateur wrestler. I started amateur wrestling after I started professional wrestling. So I started amateur wrestling at 27 years old. And I remember everyone telling me, you can't do it. You can't start a sport at an elite level at that late an age. You can't do it. Whereas I saw a window of opportunity. I looked at the competition and I was like, because if you think about it, what is the average person who does sports, what weight do they walk around at? You're probably going 170, 180. Okay. Well, then they start training intensely for amateur wrestling. You're going, okay, so they're 160, 170. So you find most of the competition is in that 160 to 175 pound range. Now, if you look at the heavyweights in UFC, you know, it's like the higher up that you go, the less depth there is in the field of competition. So my viewpoint was, if I go in at the highest weight class possible in the United Kingdom, how many people are there that I really have to worry about competing with here? And there was maybe 10, you know? And then I just spent 3 years going, I'm going to try my absolute best. I have, like, for me, like, you know, one thing that I'm very grateful for is I am unusually strong. Like, I'm just, for some reason, I am unusually strong. I've squatted 500 pounds. I've deadlifted 500 pounds. I've done lifts on, like, you know, 2 people at the same time in the ring. I'm much stronger than I look. So I knew I had this weird strength thing going on. And I knew that I was going to carry that in with me. But yeah, I thought about that, and I thought, if I really apply myself, I actually only have to beat these 10 guys. And I just spent 3 years figuring out how to beat the rest of the people in that heavier division in the UK. And then I became British champion in freestyle, British champion in Greco. Then I went to the Commonwealth Games to represent my country. And you know, for those who don't know, in America, it's like the Olympics without America or Russia. You know, we just take out the two of the bigger nations there. But yeah, so it's the Commonwealth territory. So it's like, you know, it's the UK, it's Canada, it's India. It's, you know, there are a lot of countries that are in it. But I got to do all that, and the reason I started amateur wrestling was because at the time, CM Punk had signed with the UFC, an incredibly lucrative deal. And at the time, I thought, one, if I become a high-level amateur wrestler, then I'll probably be used in a slightly different way on the show, and I'll be taken as a credible threat. But also, it gives me options. Like, I just looked at what CM Punk did, and I was like, well, you know, I'd like to have those options down the line. So that's why I did it. Back in, I think I must have started that in 2015.
Yeah, very cool. But no professional wrestling connection whatsoever. So
I think it's just because I'm the guy that sings and spins around, you know. So it's like, I think that it's interesting you bring that up. It's probably something I should pay more attention to be honest. I should bring something. I'll think on that.
Start throwing some people around.
Yeah,
man.
Yeah, it's a good suggestion.
Thank you. Occasionally I have a good idea, Joe. And of course, once again, we're on with Joe Hendry, the TNA World Champion. And, you know, the Scottish culture, and, you know, we're starting to see a lot of top people coming out of Scotland. It's pretty exciting to see that. And I'm part Scottish, so that makes me happy. But I wanted to ask you something. Have you ever done the Highland Games?
I've never done the Highland Games.
Wow.
I've never done that.
I got to see you do a caper toss, man.
Yeah, I don't know if my shoulders are going to want that, but yeah, we'll need to see what the Highland Games is paying these days, and then I'll think about it.
Well, it's all that marketing, Joe. You know that.
That's it. Don't tempt me, because I do stuff like that. I'll just go off and go, yeah, all right, I'll do the Highland Games. I nearly when I wasn't signed to TNA, I'd made the decision that I couldn't get on Bloodsport by Josh Barnett.
Yes.
So I decided that I was in my head, I was like, if I don't get signed the next couple of months, I'm going to do what I need to do to actually win the Catch Wrestling World Championship. They hold that in Wigan. And again, with my amateur wrestling background, I thought I had at the time, I was pretty high level, and I thought I had a good opportunity, a good chance to do it. So that was my plan. If I didn't sign to TNA, I was going to try and win the Catch Wrestling World Championship. And then Josh Barnett would have had to put me on Bloodsport, because I'd won the title. That was my genuine plan had I not signed to TNA Wrestling. I've always got a plan, and I always believe I would have made it because I always have a plan.
Have you pulled off this thing with the spear yet? Because I know I saw that tweet that went out. You've been trying to get on there. You asked, I believe, about trying to get 5 seconds on there. Have you had any talks with the spear at this point?
So I've not heard back from the Sphere. I am willing to pay for a pro rata. I'm willing to pay a pro rata rate to get an advertisement on the Sphere. I'm willing to put up a 5-figure sum of money to get on the Sphere, even if just for 1 second. It doesn't matter. 1 second is almost funnier than the full thing.
You're right.
Get in touch. Whoever their salesperson is, you got a sale right here. Don't need to do any work. Just DM me. I've tweeted you many times. I've got a 5-figure sum waiting for you for 1 second. That's a news story in itself. What are you busy doing? You had to lunch today. You got to make. Come on, you got a sale right here. This is going to get massive press for the Sphere.
Joe, I'm going to make that call for you too.
Are you actually? You know a guy at the Sphere.
I know people. So
you know people.
I know people.
All right,
so
you've heard it here.
I will try to do my best.
Oh, now it's I try to do my best. There we go.
I'll make a call to the Sphere.
You said do you know people or do you not know people? Because you given all this talk.
I got connections, but
if you're going to do the whole, I got connections.
I'm going
to drop that. You got to deliver, man.
I will do my best. There will be a phone call made on your behalf because I am a huge fan of Joe Hendry.
All right. I don't know how it goes. Maybe it's a 5-figure sum. I will donate a 5-figure sum to charity if they give me a second on the Sphere.
Oh, there you go. All right. We're going to get that out pretty quick, I think, to everybody. All right, everybody. And there we go. Joe Hendry joining us on the Mark Hoke Show. Had a lot of fun with Joe. Great guy. And then let's get another great guy in here. That is Stu Myrick from Sports Guys Talking Wrestling. Stu, welcome to back to the Mark Hoke Show.
I'm not sure I'd rate as high as Joe Hendry. I do believe in Joe Hendry, but I appreciate the sentiment. How you doing?
I'm doing okay. I'll tell you how my day went yesterday later on.
Yes.
It was, well, don't get me started.
All right.
But I am apparently the media master manipulator, and I don't know how I got the championship, but it's all good. All good.
Okay.
Sorry, throat's a little off right now. But yeah, what a week it's been here in Las Vegas, for me personally, and for obviously for the city. Just it's been nuts up here. Stu, what's kind of the vibe outside of Las Vegas right now about what's going on at WrestleMania?
It's it's WrestleMania weekend, and I've done 6 of them, and it's a coming together of wrestling fans, wrestling fandom. I would say there was probably as much excitement for the independent shows as there was for WrestleMania itself. Whether that's due to the weird build to WrestleMania or whatever, I think it's one of those things where everybody was looking forward to, whether it was the Collective or the shows at the FSW Arena. I know Texas Wrestling Cartel out of Corpus Christi, I think they were part of that lineup. Of course, you got the WrestleCon shows. So I think there was, it was one of those things, Las Vegas is one of those cities that is suited for something like a WrestleMania weekend. New Orleans is kind of the same way in the sense that it feels like everything's within walking distance. New Orleans is like that. In fact, I've walked from the convention center in New Orleans to the Superdome. Of course, I did my first Super Bowl there. So I think there was that. I think there was I get the feeling kind of like last year. Everybody, I think there was more anticipation for night 2 than it was for night 1. So I guess that's probably kind of the summation of the weekend so far.
Yeah, and it's been a great week. And first I got a few people I want to thank too. Got to go to Bloodsport and Progress Wrestling on Thursday night, which was a lot of fun. And I want to talk a little Bloodsport with you as we go through the show before we get to banging away on WrestleMania. And I don't know, and Stu, I didn't get to tell you this. So Eric Bischoff was having Wi-Fi issues at his hotel, and we ended up having him come down to the KDAWN studios, and we helped broadcast the latest edition of 83 Weeks. So I recommend everybody take it.
I think you post the picture on social media. I saw that picture. That's really cool. Look, you and I are part of the, we're part of the radio community. So whenever someone comes into town and they need a spot, we had at what used to be Genuine Austin Radio Network. It was the Horn. It was Coke FM, which is country station. We had a spare studio, and we would lend it out. In fact, Mark Henry came one day, did bust open from our spare studio. It was actually our 105.3. What were we calling it? The Beat, something like that. Anyway, it's spare studio. Mark Henry came, and in fact, I produced his section, I guess the way to put it, for Busted Open. And of course, took him around. I introduced him to the guys at the Horn. Took him to the Coke FM, studios. A dear friend Eric Raines was doing the producing, and he was just he was kind of a wrestling fan. He watched Mark Henry, so it was cool to introduce him, and so. But yeah, that's kind of the thing. You and I are lucky enough, being part of the radio brotherhood, shall we say, to have those resources available. So that's really cool that Eric Bischoff was able to do 83 weeks from your studio.
Yeah, and I got to tell you, great guy. Got along well. You hear things, but he was just a blast to work with, and we had so much fun doing that. And I want to thank the 83 Weeks team on the show because we all worked together very smoothly. And I got to tell you, I was nervous as hell because I didn't realize we were doing the show live until about 9:00 that morning. Yeah. So it was a little bit of a shall we say, some anxious moments before we got rolling. But I do want to thank the 83 Weeks team for giving us that opportunity. So very cool. And thank you, Mr. Bischoff, Conrad Thompson. You guys are awesome. So
yeah, of course they're heading to Arlington in July for Starcast. I hope to be there. I need to reach out to Conrad, see if I can get a media pass or something. I was part of the very first Starcast in 18. I was on their version of Radio Row. In fact, Conrad reached out to me while I was in Las Vegas for Cauliflower Alley Club, and that was in like May of 2018. Said, hey, you want to come to Starcast? I said, sure. So
yeah,
it was fun.
Yeah.
So hopefully I get to do it up in Arlington.
Well, we will see. Maybe I'll be getting to go to Starcast too.
Hey, cool.
Yeah. So, but I want to, before we head to break, I want to talk about Bloodsport. And because, Josh Barnett was kind enough, of course, we had him on the show and was kind enough to get us some tickets to come in. And what an interesting night. And I don't know, Stu, if you've watched or seen Bloodsport, but for those of you out there that don't know how it works, they take the ropes off the ring and it's much more of an MMA style match as opposed to your typical pro wrestling match. Yeah. Very hard hitting. Very intense. And I was absolutely fascinated watching this. And some people came out with some personalities that you normally don't see, mostly speaking about Natty Neidhart.
Yeah.
Who, I got to tell you, first, Natty, potty mouth girl. Come on, man. She was, I mean, look, and it's funny because whenever we see Natty on TV, she's the sweetheart generally. And, we see her videos with her sister and the cats and all that kind of stuff. And she had a jacket on that said the low key legend and had a huge battle with Mia Yamashita. I mean, just beat the hell out of each other.
That was one I was looking forward to. We've had Miyu here in Austin for Inspire, and she is as every bit of a great talent as is advertised.
Yeah, a lot of hard hitting on there. Layla Hirsch won her match. Micah and Carmen Petrovich had a terrific match. Charlie Dempsey looked good. Cross took on Jarek Kratos, and that was a great match. Pete Dunne, Timothy Thatcher was high intensity the whole way on that one. The Natty match, Tavion Heights and Royce Isaacs. Shayna Baszler looked great against Konami. Unbelievable battle with Zack Sabre Jr. and Jonathan Gresham. They just crushed each other and twisted each other like pretzels. It was beautiful to see. Yeah. And Gabe Kidd, first time I got to see Gabe Kidd live and interacting with the crowd, not such a nice way, but he and Josh Barnett had a fantastic match too. And I came away impressed with Gabe for sure. I mean, you see the exploits in New Japan, but we get to see a close up. It was something else. So it was an awesome card. And, Stu, I'm really curious about getting thoughts about what do you think about where this style of match and show could go?
Look, we know there are several different genres in wrestling. I think this could fit in beautifully. It is, like you said, MMA. I've heard it compared to catch wrestling.
Yeah, I mean, that's the stress.
And, if you get the right talent, and Josh seems to book the right talent for every one of those shows, then yeah, it can be really fascinating. It was interesting. You mentioned, of course, Natalya Neidhart. After the match, she got in a tussle with Kenzie Page, the current NWA Women's World Champion, and I think there are plans for Natalya to wrestle in the NWA, which that would be fantastic. And by the way, can you imagine 3 years ago, seeing WWE talent on an independent card?
No.
And you have 6, 7 WWE contracted wrestlers on Bloodsport.
7. Yeah.
Natalya is probably going to be wrestling for the NWA. I mean, it is a whole new world in wrestling. But yeah, there is absolutely a spot for Bloodsport. And I think as long as Josh does what he does, man, this could be this could be something that wrestling fans could really pay attention to, especially those that probably lean more towards the non-entertainment side.
Yeah, more hard-hitting style.
Yeah. So
yeah. And I think with this too, that not only just the style of this, but I think a lot of the people that are on the card are pretty excited to get to do something like this because it's completely different from what they're probably doing in, say, a WWE or AEW or wherever. Plus, they get to show a different side of themselves. Mm-hmm. I think this is going to benefit Natty heavily because now you see her in a very different light than you see her on WWE TV. And that's something that she should be able to take advantage of. So I think this is a fascinating thing that Josh Barnett's got going on. And I would recommend if you get a chance to see Bloodsport, go out and check it out. It was a lot of fun. A lot of fun. All right. We got to get a break in. And when we come back, Stu, it's funny you were talking about the changing landscape of the world of pro wrestling. As there was an acquisition made by the WWE overlords announced yesterday. But is WWE trying to monopolize pro wrestling? We'll talk about it when we come back on the Mark Hoke Show here on KDAWN 101.5 FM. The Talk of Las Vegas, streaming on YouTube, X, Facebook. Join us in there. Give us a comment. We'll see you on the other side of the break.
Looking for high-quality custom screen printing in Las Vegas? Look no further than Off Grid Creations. Need a few custom t-shirts for a local event, band merchandise, or family reunion? We've got you covered. Large order of uniforms for your staff, sports team, or club? We can handle that too. Our experienced team will work closely with you throughout the entire process from design consultation to final product. Call us at 661-300-1115. That's 661-300-1115. Or visit our website at off-gridcreations.com. Get a free consultation today.
Welcome to JobX, your one-stop platform for career opportunities in Clark County. Now is the perfect time to explore your future career. JobX connects you to a personalized skills assessment, local in-demand careers, and training opportunities near you. Not sure what career is right for you? Take the skills matching quiz and find your fit. Ready to get started? Visit jobx.vegas today and make your next career move. Sponsored by the Vegas Chamber, aired in cooperation with the Nevada Broadcasters Association and the station.
All right, when it comes to getting life insurance for your family, a lot of excuses can get in the way. But ask yourself this: if something were to happen to me, who would pay the mortgage, the kids' education, and the other bills? Then forget the excuses and check out Ethos Life, the online, easy way to get life insurance in 10 minutes. Ethos has rates that you can afford, like a $500,000 policy for a 40-year-old male starting at $1 a day or $30 a month, with a few health questions and no medical exam. Get your free quote right now at checkethos.com. That's checkethos.com. Not available in all states. Rates do vary.
You know what's better than a limited time deal? An unlimited time deal. That's why the Wendy's $5 biggie bag with a junior bacon cheeseburger, 4-piece nugs, junior hot and crispy fries, and small soft drink is available all the time. Because the best time for fresh, never frozen beef and Applewood smoked bacon is all the time. Duh. I feel like I'm repeating myself a lot. For the best deal of all time, gotta be Wendy's.
Unlimited time does not mean forever. U.S. price and participation may vary. Prices may be higher in Alaska, Hawaii, and California via third-party delivery. Fresh beef available in the contiguous U.S., Alaska, and Canada.
For nearly 2,000 severely injured veterans, everyday life has become filled with barriers. So we build specially adapted homes at Homes for Our Troops. And thanks to our donors and supporters, this life-changing gift of freedom is provided mortgage-free to these veterans. But we need you to join us too in completing this important mission. Please visit hfotusa.org and help build homes and rebuild lives.
You could think you found your dream home online. The kitchen island looks perfect for your inner chef. The backyard, a paradise for your green thumb. And that extra room, hello walk-in closet. But here's the twist. The lot next door just got rezoned for years of construction. And this sound, yeah, you're going to be hearing a lot of that. Don't let your dream home turn into a nightmare. Work with the expertise and ethical training of a Realtor, here to guide and help protect you from the surprises you didn't see coming. Realtors are members of the National Association of Realtors, right by you.
1015 FM KDAWN.
You're listening to the #1 professional wrestling radio show in Vegas, The Mark Hoke Show.
The Mark Hoke Show.
Now, here again is Mark Hoke.
Let's go, Stu. Put him up. Stu Myrick. Mark Hoke. One sport match.
I'll tell you the same thing I tell Dustin Rhodes every time I see him. I do not take bumps.
Well, we'll figure something out.
No.
Could we get through a match without, just one bump? One bump. I'll team with you. I'll team with you.
Nope.
I'll protect you.
Nobody wants to see a commentator get in the ring.
Oh, I don't know.
That long time ago from Jim Ross. Nobody wants to see a commentator.
I don't know. I think if there's a few people who might want to put me in the ring and give me a beating, but it's all good. But we're having a great.
I don't know what circles you run in, but whatever.
Well, thank you for being with us again on the Mark Hoke Show here on KDAWN. It's WrestleMania weekend here in Las Vegas, and it has been one hell of a time. And we still got a couple more nights to go with, of course, WrestleMania Night 2 today. And then the Raw after WrestleMania will be going on as well, along with some other great activities. So just hop on the nets and see what's going on if you can't get over to WrestleMania today. Now, we teased this about this new acquisition by WWE that they bought out AAA, the Mexican promotion. So there's two major ones down there, AAA and CMLL. CMLL just announced that they were going to be working with Tony Khan and AEW, and then this out of the blue. And by the way, Andrade didn't look real happy standing at that press conference. He did not seem
Unless I'm mistaken, I think Andrade was a CMLL guy.
Yeah. So that was very awkward. But I think there's a bigger picture here, Stu. And if you take a look at if Tony Khan started the alliance with New Japan and then started working with guys like AAA and TNA and CMLL and people from all over the world, and of course did some work with guys in the indies and bringing in good young talent. And it appears to me that WWE said, okay, well, we've got a bigger checkbook, maybe. So let's go out and see what we can do to lock things in. You look at the WWE ID program as an example. Well, all these indie stars, of course, if you throw a WWE ID contract at them, they're going to go for it. And it's starting to pull all the indies together somewhat under the WWE banner, even though a lot of them aren't technically signed with them or have an agreement. But, if WWE calls and says, hey, we want to get an ID guy on here, what do you think they're going to do? Say no? So this plus this acquisition and adding TNA into the mix, Stu, I have a feeling that pro wrestling is going to be under two banners. It's either going to be you're a WWE person and company, or you are going to be hanging with Tony Khan, because Tony's not going to give 1 inch. We all know that. But I wonder if this is actually good or bad for pro wrestling, that WWE is just swallowing everybody up right now. It reminds me of the Vince McMahon territory grab.
There is a little bit of a feeling of that. And, I was a fan back in the days when all of a sudden, when Vince started grabbing the top talents, like, he signed Junkyard Dog out of Mid-South, at the height of his popularity. You signed, Hacksaw Jim Duggan. You start signing guys from Crockett. So this, WWE buying AAA is a, we haven't seen WWE acquire a promotion like this since they bought WCW. AAA is the second oldest promotion and the second biggest promotion in Mexico, next to CMLL. Could this lead to more? There were rumors prior to the pandemic of WWE looking into like Pro Wrestling Noah in Japan. I saw something, Kevin Kelly, who's a good friend, he mentioned so he would not be shocked if WWE tried to buy New Japan. I don't think that's going to happen, at least in the near future. But yeah, I mean, you look at the partnership with TNA, and of course, everybody's speculating that could possibly lead to WWE buying TNA.
And I think it's going to happen. I think that's going to happen.
Wouldn't surprise me in a bit, because TNA has been on so many deathbeds over its 20+ year tenure that they could be just ripe, especially now, after this house cleaning that Anthem did. So it's feeling a little like there could be more acquisitions. This one was a big shocker, and this one, a little bit of a surprise, because I've checked all the different sites. I even checked WWE's corporate site. There's no press release announcing this. So I don't know if this was, I think I saw some speculation that this deal came about because of the partnership between AEW and CMLL. But to buy out a major promotion like AAA, and it was so weird during the kickoff show, seeing El Hijo del Vikingo, standing on the podium there on a WWE show, and he is a AAA contracted wrestler, of course, former mega champion. That was just surreal. And so, yeah, let's see what else they do. There was the, Triple H, he wanted to do NXT Europe and NXT Japan. And apparently there is still, some moves towards doing an NXT Europe at least. NXT UK fell apart, but he wants to, climb back into the European scene. So I think it's a matter of let's just see what happens, and brace yourself, because there could be other acquisitions.
Yeah, I'm just concerned that we are going to be pushing back to the days when WWE was the only promotion, and it just, it got bland. It got bland. I mean, Tony Khan's not going anywhere with AEW.
No.
And this is going to be really interesting to see how all this turns out, because I've just got this feeling that it's going to be two promotions that are going to be leading the way, WWE and AEW, and everybody else is just going to have to pick a side, and that's what we got.
I'm okay with two promotions at least. I do not want I don't want to go back to the days when WWE was the only game in town. Now I will say that gave rise to the independent, scene, because you had one promotion, WWE, everybody else, hey, let's make the indies better. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, it's a fascinating acquisition. So guys, watch the business side of this, and hopefully we don't end up with a monopoly again in pro wrestling. All right, when we come back, We're going to be talking a little bit what happened on SmackDown. Of course, a lot of it led into WrestleMania and breaking down what happened yesterday and getting ready for tonight here in Las Vegas. It's going to be an amazing time over at Allegiant Stadium. Guys, we will see you on the other side of the break. I've got Stu Myrick with me for the ride from Sports Guys Talking Wrestling. Follow us on X at Mark Hoke Show, Facebook, The Mark Hoke Show, YouTube, The Mark Hoke Show as well. And we're also starting to get the Instagram and TikTok going too. So just look us up. You'll find us. We'll see you guys on the other side of the break on WrestleMania weekend here in Las Vegas on The Mark Hoke Show. We'll be right back. Want more of The Mark Hoke Show? Follow us on Twitter at Mark Hoke Show. Like us on Facebook at The Mark Hoke Show. And visit markhokeshow.com to keep up with everything happening with the show. And remember to check out all of our archive shows on YouTube at The Mark Hoke Show and download our podcasts at markhokeshow.podbean.com and all your favorite podcast outlets. So join The Mark Hoke Show family today, and thanks for listening.
Hi, this is Manny at Fetchatech, the best plumbing and AC company here in Las Vegas. And you know, I have to tell you that I love my dog, Ollie. And that's why we'll give you 10% off any plumbing or AC repairs if you have a pet in the house. Not kidding. At Fetchatech Air Conditioning and Plumbing, we show up on time, we keep our word, and are as loyal as your favorite dog. So what you waiting for? Call or Google Fetchatech and get an automatic 10% discount on repairs or get a $49 AC tune-up. And as we all know, you can always trust someone who loves dogs. So call Fetchatech. We're doggone good and we're doggone fast. And if you have a pet, you get 10% off plumbing or AC repairs and a $49 tune-up. So call Fetchatech right now at 702-509-2000 or just Google Fetchatech. That's 702-509-2000 or Google Fetchatech and we'll come a running.
Fetchatech, service that's a breed apart.
There is no known safe amount of marijuana use during pregnancy. Marijuana is not safe for pregnant or breastfeeding women and their babies. Everything a mother eats, drinks, or smokes affects her developing baby or enters her breast milk. Just like alcohol and tobacco, using marijuana can have negative effects for your baby. Any form of marijuana may be harmful during pregnancy and while breastfeeding. Marijuana can affect your ability to care for your baby or someone else's baby. It is best for women to quit using while pregnant and breastfeeding. If you are pregnant or a new mother using marijuana, you are urged to seek help to quit. Pregnant women receive priority admission at state-funded treatment centers. Visit SoberMomsHealthyBabies.org. That's SoberMomsHealthyBabies.org or call 211. This message sponsored by the Nevada Division of Public and Behavioral Health, aired in cooperation with the Nevada Broadcasters Association and this station.
I had the worst dream last night. You were in a car crash and the kids and I were on our own. We had to move out of the house because I couldn't afford it anymore.
That's awful, hon.
My brother got life insurance from Ethos and it only took 10 minutes. And he got $2 million in coverage for around $2 a day. It's all online. No medical exam. He just answered a few health questions right from his house.
Ethos, here we come.
Visit ethos.com/sports. Ethos.com/sports.
Sample rate is a 10-year term life policy for 35-year-old healthy, non-smoking male. Billed monthly.
You know what's better than a limited time deal? An unlimited time deal. That's why the Wendy's $5 biggie bag with a junior bacon cheeseburger, 4-piece nugs, junior hot and crispy fries, and small soft drink is available all the time. Because the best time for fresh, never frozen beef and Applewood smoked bacon is all the time. Duh. I feel like I'm repeating myself a lot. For the best deal of all time, gotta be Wendy's.
Unlimited time does not mean forever. U.S. price and participation may vary. Prices may be higher in Alaska, Hawaii, and California via third-party delivery. Fresh beef available in the contiguous U.S., Alaska, and Canada.
KMXB HD3 Henderson, K260HCS Las Vegas. Always live on the free Odyssey app. 1015 FM KDAWN.
Hope wows the crowd at the Vatican. I'm Jack Callahan, Fox News. More than 200,000 people packed St. Peter's Square in Vatican City today to celebrate Easter Sunday Mass. Pope Francis greeted them from the balcony following the main service.
Cari fratelli e sorelle, buona Pasqua.
Dear brothers and sisters, happy Easter.
The Pope also rode around the square in the so-called Pope-mobile, offering blessings as he went. Vice President Vance briefly met with the Pope inside the Vatican earlier today. Massive hailstones, some of them as big as softballs, leaving a path of destruction across eastern Nebraska over the weekend. Large pellets pummeling communities, crashing through the windows of homes, cars, and businesses after severe thunderstorms swept across the region. Fox meteorologist Rick Reichmuth.
When we talk about severe weather, people always think about tornadoes. Obviously, the most dramatic of them, but hail can cause a lot of damage. We saw it yesterday again. We're going to see it today as well, and it's all on this boundary between the warm air that we've got across much of the eastern seaboard and the cold air that's out across the west. That's a general setup for severe weather, and we're going to be in this pattern, I think, for the better part of the next couple of weeks, or at least on and off of it. Heavy rain, some severe weather already this morning from Texas to Oklahoma, up across parts of Kansas and in towards southwestern Missouri. These storms very strong, also bringing a lot of heavy rain with it, and that's been causing some flooding that we saw yesterday, flooding that we'll again see throughout the day today.
Central Missouri and Arkansas also facing tornado risks today. Israel's military has released details of their review of the killing of 15 emergency workers in Gaza last month, finding there had been several professional failures, breaches of orders, and a failure to fully report the incident. 15 paramedics and emergency responders were shot dead on March 23rd, then buried in a shallow grave. A deputy commander will be fired over the incident. America is listening to Fox News.
From around the world,
Trey Yingst, joining us from Tel Aviv, Israel.
To Washington,
I'm Mike Emanuel.
To your own backyard. If a story impacts you or your wallet, we're on it. It's the Fox News Rundown. We give every story the deeper look it deserves with must-listen interviews and smart analysis from the voices you can trust. Start your day with the Fox News Rundown. Listen and follow now at foxnewsrundown.com or wherever you get your favorite podcasts. From the Fox News Podcasts Network.
Hey, this is Trey Gowdy, host of the Trey Gowdy Podcast. Every Tuesday, you'll hear what's on my mind. Plus, every Thursday, there's a special bonus episode where we answer the questions that are on your mind. Make sure to spend your Tuesdays and Thursdays with Trey. Subscribe now at foxnewspodcast.com or wherever you download podcasts. Hope to see you.
America's listening to Fox News.
KDAWN and Desert Springs Pool and Spas have teamed up for the $65K pool giveaway. Enter now at odyssey.com/KDAWN for your chance to win. Hurry, contest ends June 30th, 2025. No purchase necessary. See website for details.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the #1 professional wrestling radio show in Las Vegas. This is the Mark Hoke Show. The Mark Hoke Show. Going bell to bell with the best in professional wrestling news, entertainment, and lots of Sin City surprises from inside the squared circle. Now, let's get to all the exciting pro wrestling action and bring on the host. Here is Mark Hoke.
And we are back for hour number 2 of the Mark Hoke Show, the best in pro wrestling news and entertainment. It's WrestleMania weekend in Sin City, and we are having a great time. So much still going on around Las Vegas. A lot of great indie shows, by the way. Don't forget to check those out. Our good buddy Phil Stamper has a full calendar up on his Twitter account. So check that out at Trust and Phil. He's going to take care of you. Stu Myrick, some sports guys talking wrestling in Austin, Texas, along with me for the ride. I think, I got a pretty good group of people with Phil and Stu and Coach Rosie. We are having an unbelievable time doing this show, and I thank you from the bottom of my heart, Mr. Myrick. How's it going?
My pleasure. It's going good. We got some rain here, which we need here in Central Texas. It's been pretty dry, so it was nice to get a little rain. I think we're supposed to get a little more rain either tomorrow or Tuesday. So, I don't mind raining on the Easter egg hunt because, like I said, we need the rain. Lakes are getting a little low, so.
Yeah, I suppose I should say Happy Easter, everybody, too. Yeah. We're so caught up in all that. I mean, it's just trying not to forget about it.
Yeah, plus you got WrestleMania weekend this now. Thursday, the NFL draft. Could see 3 Longhorns go in the first round. Jahdae Barron, Matthew Golden, and Kelvin Banks. So, yeah, excited. We'll see what the Cowboys do. I shuddered.
It won't work. It
I
won't
know
work.
it won't work. Jerry has the hit and miss drafts, and so we'll see. But hey, it'll be fun to see the NFL draft in Green Bay, Wisconsin too.
Yeah, there you go. I hope it snows up there. But anyway, but leading into yesterday, we did have an interesting episode of SmackDown that basically all hell broke loose on here. And there's a few things that I wanted to point out. First, Carmelo Anthony gets the win in the Andre the Giant Battle Royal. And, that was a little bit of a surprise to see Melo get that win. I'm happy for him. I mean, he's just been kind of stuck in neutral. So at least he's going to have something to jump on a little bit.
Yeah, it's cool. Now, if you look back at the history of those who have won the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal, most of them they'll win the Battle Royal and they stay in neutral.
Yeah,
I hope that's not what happens to Carmelo Hayes. They've got this budding tag team with the Miz, but so we'll see.
Yeah, they need to get Melo going on this thing. He's so good, and it's just I interviewed him, and he's a terrific guy and such an incredible talent. So hopefully this is going to be a nice step for Carmelo Anthony. The tag team situation, we had all three of the tag teams going at it again: DIY and Street Profits, Motor City Machine Guns. Have a title match, DIY interferes, and everybody in the building at SmackDown was thinking, all right, we're going to get this triple threat that we were waiting for on WrestleMania. And then Nick Aldis says to a chorus of boos, next week. I mean, dude, the T-Mobile Arena just was lighting him up.
Yeah.
And I think it's a real shame that we're not going to get that match at WrestleMania, but it's what they want to do. So, and Chelsea and Zelina Vega, same thing. I mean, a lot of people wanted Chelsea on there, and when found out, we're going to do this again next week, and it's like, oh my God, everybody booed again.
Yeah. Next week, SmackDown up in the Metroplex at Dickies Arena in Fort Worth. The triple threat for the tag titles, I think it's supposed to be a ladder match, if I'm not mistaken, which that'll be fun to watch. But yeah, that deserves to be on the WrestleMania card. And Chelsea Green not being on the WrestleMania card is an absolute crime. I love Chelsea to death. She is a fantastic talent. She knows her role. She plays it to a T. Like I said, it's criminal that she is not on the WrestleMania card. But yeah, I guess we'll get her and Zelina Vega next week in Fort Worth. And
good for you.
Well,
not good for them.
It's 3 hours up I-35 for me.
Yeah.
So I'm not going. I'm not.
Okay.
I got, like I said, and plus Friday is the second round of the draft, so I'm gonna be paying attention to that as well. So
fair enough. And it was really funny when you saw the little vignette show up, which appeared to be for Malachi Black, popping up while Zelina Vega was sitting there perched on the ropes. Some people got some pictures of her just grinning from ear to ear when that thing popped up on the screen. So yeah, hubby and wife to be reunited in WWE. But the other thing that happened that affected yesterday heavily at SmackDown was Rey Mysterio going down. And we were all watching him, and he was basically sidelined for most of that 6-man match that didn't have to happen. It really didn't. They didn't need it. And Rey got carried out, and we were just in shock, saying there's no way he's not going to make it at WrestleMania. What a sad thing that was for Rey.
It's a shame for Rey. I mean, at the same time, announcing Rey Fenix was going to take his place was a big positive. So now you have both of the Lucha Brothers making WrestleMania debuts this year. And, I am, a big fan of both Penta and Phoenix. Got to know them, through their several trips through Texas. either on the independents or with AEW. And so I was so happy that Ray Phoenix able to get on the WrestleMania card just like his brother Penta.
Yeah, and I knew that was going to be the guy they were going to have to go to, because almost anybody else going out there against Chad Gable, and you would have said Chad's going over and this is not going to be an exciting match, but it ended up working out pretty well, except Ray Phoenix taking a very early loss that I don't think they wanted him to take. Also, then during WrestleMania, Bayley got pulled out of the women's tag match, and a lot of people were up in arms about that. Apparently, from what I've been seeing, this was planned, that they were planning to take Bayley out. And I am sitting here saying to myself, this was already a thrown together tag team with her and Lyra Valkyria. Why would you take Bayley out when you have the women's Intercontinental Champion there? And the rumor is right now that Becky Lynch is going to be taking her place. But how does that work? Because either Becky and Lyra are going to take a loss, and that's not necessarily good for Becky on a return, or then Becky and Lyra end up the tag team champions. Now Lyra's got 2 titles, and we have kind of a mess like we had down in NXT with the unification that ended up not being unified. I'm not big on this. I mean, you're going to get a good pop out of Becky showing up if it is her, but man, this is a weird strategy, and a lot of people are up in arms about Bayley being taken off the card.
Yeah, first of all, and it's not for like health or injury or anything. They just decided to pivot, and it makes no sense. Bayley has had a couple of really good WrestleManias. Why drop her now? I mean, it kind of makes you scratch your head. And yeah, the rumor, of course, Becky Lynch will be making her return. I got a feeling it'll actually be Becky and Lyra going over and winning the tag titles, which is cool. Did you see apparently Mercedes Moné sending a tweet to Bayley? And it was kind of a little bit of a cryptic, it was an emoji type thing, but basically I think it boiled down to, and I'm not a emoji translator or anything, but it looked a little like, hey, call me, maybe we can do some business.
Yeah,
I don't know if that's going to happen, because I don't know how long Bayley's got left on her deal, but still getting cut for WrestleMania for creative reasons that still stinks.
Yeah, especially when it just happened. I mean, there was just a very minor build to this. That gauntlet match that got those 2 into that was only a couple of weeks ago. So I don't know. I feel for Bayley. I really do. I really do. She's such an incredible talent, and she's been kind of out of the 4 horsewomen. She was kind of the one that while she was winning, they still made her kind of feel like she was the little sister, and she's not. She's an incredible talent. So, Bayley, if you're listening, Stu and I got your back. We're with you. We love you, Bayley. All right. So now let's get down to what happened yesterday at WrestleMania. Interesting day. Curious to hear your thoughts about the matches. Was reading a lot of reviews from people I trust, and it has been a peaks and valleys kind of review for day 1. So let's kick it off. The Jey Uso Gunther match. And, I thought overall pretty good match. Kind of a different way to use Jey. He was doing some new maneuvers for him, more Gunther-y kind of maneuvers in that match. The stadium went nuts. I mean, that intro must have gone 7 or 8 minutes at least. I mean, I was just like, when are we getting Gunther out here? But, happy for Jey, and solid match, Stu. What did you think about that first one?
Yes, the entrance took forever. I mean, you're going to have Jey Uso coming down through the crowd, and that you're talking, it's not an arena, it's a stadium, an NFL stadium. So yeah, it's going to take a bit. It was an interesting match. I was surprised they had Gunther tap out. I would have. I mean, I was sure if Jay was going to go over, it was going to be just Uso splash and a pinfall. But no, they had Gunther tap out. I don't know what that. I mean, I'll be curious to see what they do with that going forward because that's got to be part of Gunther's story now. I'm happy for Jey Uso. Don't get me wrong. I thought that was a great moment. And Jimmy came out and helped him celebrate, and it was just that was a really cool moment. But yeah, Gunther tapping out was a big surprise to me, and we'll see how that factors into Gunther's story going forward.
Yeah, apparently there's a couple matches back with NXT and so on that he did submit. So apparently they're trying to build up a submission weakness for Gunther. But I just hope Gunther doesn't fall down the card too badly. I want the rematch, and I love Jay, but I love Gunther as a world champion, and I just think the guy's incredible. So we'll see how that all breaks down. We get to the next one. We got the New Day taking on the War Raiders for the World Tag Team Championship, and the New Day get another world title as a little bit of cheating there at the end, but the New Day are back on top. I think this was a pretty good move. Feel bad for the War Raiders because once again, and you're going to find, by the way, this is a trend that we're going to be talking about, some people getting knocked down the card, but the New Day winning with their new iteration, pretty cool, and I think a good call.
Yeah, I mean, I think this was the expected result. Look, I am so Eric of the War Raiders, aka Rayro. Rayro was running a promotion here in the Austin area with the late great Jack Stane, and they let me do commentary. It was the very first time I could ever did wrestling commentary. So I am forever indebted to Ray Rowe. He also got me into my very first Ring of Honor show, which was fantastic at Supercard of Honor in Dallas. So I will always root for War Machine / War Raiders. But yeah, this was kind of the logical next step in New Day's, heel persona. And so we will see. Let's see how long this reign is and who takes the titles off of them and what happens afterwards. Because, I think there are still some people that are holding out the hope that Big E comes back and finds a way to right the ship, so to speak, with the New Day. But we'll see.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people were possibly thinking Big E might show up last night, but yeah, that didn't happen. But it would be great to have Big E back and get involved in this. Jade Cargill, Naomi. Outstanding entrance for Naomi. Her personality is really fantastic. She is putting her heart and soul into this heel turn. Jade wrestled okay, but there was still little jinky moments in the match. But what did you think? What did you think of how that match went? Because I think we all knew that Jade was going to win, but how did you like the performance of Jade Cargill in this one?
Honestly, and I need that because you were live at Allegiant Stadium, correct?
Yes.
What was the crowd reaction? Because on the broadcast, it came across as crowd went seriously mild.
It did.
I mean, this crowd couldn't care less.
Yeah, it was mild during that and the New Day match too.
And
absolutely.
So I wonder if it was. I think everybody figured Jade was going to go over. I don't know if that factored into the match. I'll be honest. It was a match. It was there. Okay, fine. I wasn't excited about it. And I wasn't wowed by anything they really did. It felt a little hard hitting just, because of the two involved. But it's like, okay, Jade won. On to the next match.
Yeah. I think that's how a lot of people felt about it too. There's just, I was holding out hope Naomi would pull something and win, but you're not going to mess with that golden girl. That's for sure. So Jade Cargill and Naomi, most people were giving it about a C-ish from grades that I saw. So there was that one. And I tell you what, before we let's get the break in, and then we will keep rolling on day one of WrestleMania. Another couple of champs and my favorite luchador. Yeah. Way to go. Grande Americano. Champion del Mundo. Stick around, everybody. We'll be right back on the Mark Hoke Show.
Personal injury law has been the same for a long time. Big egos, greed, and sleazy schemes. Big and loud doesn't always mean right. And the conventional mold doesn't define success. Goodbye, false quick buck promises. We've had enough. Welcome to Sam and Ash, the new standard for personal injury law, where things are done the right way. With integrity, experience, and authenticity, we're champions for the underdog. Life happens, and when you need help, you deserve a team without hidden agendas. A team that delivers real support and results. When you have both, your whole world can change. So if you've been hurt in a crash, call Sam and Ash, 702-303-0333. Sam and Ash, because you deserve what's right.
Don't miss your chance to spring into deals at Lowe's. Right now, get a free 60-volt Toro battery when you purchase a select 60-volt Toro electric mower. Plus, buy 3 19.3-ounce vegetable and herb Bonnie plants for just $10. It's time to give your yard a grow-up. Lowe's. We help. You save. Valid through 4/23. Selection varies by location. While supplies last. Discount taken at time of purchase. Actual plant size and selection varies by location. Excludes Alaska and Hawaii.
On the battlefield, there's a saying America's military men and women live by. Never leave a fallen warrior behind. Ever. Off the battlefield, Wounded Warrior Project operates with the same goal. Wounded Warrior Project was created to help our men and women returning home with the scars of war, whether those scars are physical or mental. Wounded Warrior Project. We never leave a fallen warrior behind. Ever. Learn more about what we do at woundedwarriorproject.org.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, millions of men experience ED, but not everyone can access or afford treatments like Viagra. At HIMSS, our own board-certified urologist, Dr. Peter Stahl, knows this better than anyone, and he knows that HIMSS can help.
Hi, I'm Dr. Peter Stahl, Senior Vice President of Men's Sexual Health at HIMSS. I've helped many guys with ED, and it has never been more convenient to treat than it is right now, thanks to HIMSS.
Through HIMSS.com, you can access a full range of treatment options for ED, including daily or as-needed meds through a 100% online process. If prescribed, your medication is shipped to you for free. Find the ED treatment that fits your needs. Options at up to 95% less than the brand names when you get started at hims.com/joy. To start your free online visit and find ED treatment at up to 95% less than brand name prices, go to hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy for your free online visit.
1015 FM KDAWN.
This is the Mark Hoke Show.
The Mark Hoke Show.
Here again, your host, Mark Hoke.
Yeah, WrestleMania weekend here in Las Vegas. Hope you're all having a great time. Keep our city clean. Don't do anything stupid. Metro doesn't like that very much. They're tolerant, but they one cross of the Metro boys and it ain't good. So enjoy yourselves smartly as we continue to roll through WrestleMania weekend here in Las Vegas. And this is the Mark Hoke Show, the best in pro wrestling news and entertainment. I'm Mark Hoke. Stu Myrick from Sports Guys Talking Wrestling joining me as well. And before we get into keep rolling on WrestleMania Day 1, just want to remind everybody about our good friends at Off Grid Creations. Man, if you need anything made for your business, banners, shirts, embroidery, stress balls, anything, Mike Franco will take care of you. I promise. He made these great shirts, Got the sign over that shoulder. Check it out. But please give him a call. It's 661-300-1115. 661-300-1115. It's at off-gridcreations.com. Once again, number 661-300-1115. He can take care of you anywhere in the country or the planet, actually. So give him a buzz, and you will get the best prices and quality you can imagine. Yeah, it was funny, Stu. I was actually with Mike at an event, and he saw a guy with a Dodgers jersey, and he looked at it, and it's like how people, we look at wrestling or whatever else we do, and he's like, "Oh, that stuff's coming off, and oh, that looks terrible, and that's from MLB, and they should be ashamed." Yeah, he cares. He cares. So
okay, sure,
it's pretty funny. All right, back to WrestleMania. Yesterday, we get into the Jacob Fatu LA Knight showdown for Knight's U.S. Championship, and Jacob Fatu comes out on top. Glad, though, that they put together, I thought, a pretty good match.
Mm-hmm.
Very hard hitting, very exciting. Really, kept LA Knight in that orbit. So I don't think LA got buried, but once again, it's a weird slide down the card for LA Knight on this. But Jacob Fatu is the new United States champion. Your observances about that match and the future for both of these guys.
It was a good match. I think the outcome was expected, but it was a good match. I hope LA Knight does not slide down the card too much. I hope they keep him featured because he is. I'm entertained by him. So I hope he doesn't slide down the card or even get stuck in catering. I'll be interested to see what Jacob Fatu as U.S. champion will do. Will this sow more seeds of dissension between him and Solo Sikoa? I would think yes. I think there's a story there. It was so funny. So I had a couple of my buddies watch and they kept, I don't know why, they were talking about the main event, which we'll get to in a minute, and they kept wanting the bloodline to interfere. And I'm going, why are you doing that? They haven't featured the bloodline since Survivor Series. In fact, you got this whole dissension between Solo and Jacob. Why does that make sense? They're just spitballing just because they want to, I don't know, spitball, whatever. But yeah, it was a fine match. And, like I said, the expected outcome was there. So congrats to Jacob Fatu. I'm actually a fan of Jacob's. Got to meet him several times during his MLW days and of course on the indies. So good on him. And we'll see how it turns out with Bloodline 2.0.
Yeah. And we'll see how it turns out with LA Knight. I hope everything goes okay for him because, well loved here in Las Vegas, that's for sure. It's still very over. So see how that turns out for him. So then we get to the Battle of the Luchadors. Sort of. Of course, Rey Mysterio knocked out at SmackDown. Rey Fenix takes his place to face off with El Grande Americano. And I got to tell you, great entrance for Mr. Gable. We'll just say it. Great entrance for him. And a well done match. Good. I thought great idea with the head plate, to get him a huge win over a very good luchador. And Chad was just playing it up the whole time. I just had so much fun with this match. It was more the comedic match of the night. And I thought Chad did a great job, and I thought Ray did a pretty good job too. So I mean, some people are banging on it a little bit, but I had fun.
I'll bang on it only because, so like I said, I'm thrilled that Rey Fenix got a WrestleMania spot. Having said that, if you're going to have Rey Fenix take that WrestleMania spot, have Rey Fenix go over. And they could have inserted Dragon Lee or one of the Legado del Fantasma guys. If you're going to have El Grande or Chad Gable or whatever the hell you want to call him, if you're going to have him go over, don't have him go over one of your newer guys that you're trying to highlight. I get the putting the plate in the head in the mask so you can do the headbutts and get the cheap win, but still it's I think part of it's just I'm a bigger fan of Phoenix than I am of Chad Gable, and I've met both guys. They're very fine people, but I'm just a bigger fan of Phoenix. I thought he should have gone over on that one, but or like I said, you should have given that spot to another luchador, Dragon Lee or somebody else.
Yeah, I mean, that injury put them in a really tough spot because Rey Mysterio, I'm sure, was willing to take the fall on that.
Yeah,
but yeah, tough thing to do. But I think under the circumstances, they made the best decision they could. Tiffany Stratton, Charlotte Flair, interesting match.
Oh, that's one way to put. That's a word.
Tiffany Stratton going over. She retains the women's championship. And, there were probably the most mixed reactions that I saw out of everybody for this match. There were some great moments and there were some awkward moments in this match, I think, to say the least. But some people liked it, some people didn't. Were you one of those people who liked it, Stu Myrick?
I'm all for the result. It felt like Tiffany Stratton needed this win. When this match was initially made, I think everybody figured, okay, Charlotte's going to get a 15th title. So I'm glad Tiffany went over. The match, however, yes, you're right. It had its moments, had its good moments. It also had some really bad moments. I mean, there were some really awkward exchanges. There were a couple times it looked like either Charlotte didn't want to do something or Tiffany didn't want it. Just there were moments when it was like, oh good God, in this match now so we can get on with our lives, because for two people that are supposed to be in the top of the women's division, it wasn't a match worthy of that status.
Yeah, it's just I just don't know if they're good dance partners, especially after what happened. And I will say too, I saw reports that Tiffany had a tooth broken early in that match too, so I'm sure that didn't help matters at all. But
it did look like on the broadcast, it looked like she had, I think it was like right front tooth had a corner knocked out. Now when she showed up for the press conference, either they fixed it or they gave her something to get her through the press conference, and then she'll go see a dentist or whatever. But yeah, it did look like she had lost like a corner of a tooth.
Yeah. So mixed bag on that one. But I will say no mixed bag on the main event.
No.
Fantastic match between three of the best in the world. Seth Rollins, Roman Reigns, CM Punk. Terrific entrances by everybody. I mean, it was funny that the crowd just was over for all three of them. Mm-hmm. And it seemed like there was a lot of Roman Reigns lovers in the audience too. But
that surprised me.
Yeah, I mean, it was and very well done by all three of them. It'd be hard to pick out a flaw in that match. Of course, Seth Rollins goes over and Paul Heyman double nutmegs. Big night for him. He went to the Spice Cabinet twice for Roman Reigns and CM Punk, and Seth Rollins walks out with a win. And by the way, a funny video with Becky Lynch, his wife, in the back going crazy that Seth won. What did you think of this? I mean, obviously a great match, but man, this is going to be some interesting stories coming up in the next few months.
It is. It's going to be really interesting. It was easily the best match of the night. Lot of drama, a lot of back and forth and back and forth. The way that they led to Paul Heyman aligning himself with Seth Rollins was good. So I enjoyed the match. What happens now is, because you got now Rollins now, so Heyman's now with Rollins. Punk still Punk and Rollins still hate each other. Roman and Seth still hate each other. Roman and Punk. Is it going to be a case of the enemy of my enemy is my
friend? Yes.
I mean, could we see them pair up? Which I don't think that's going to happen because I still like all three. The crazy thing is, all three of those guys have enough of a fan base. If this happened even 10 years ago, this would have been seen as a Seth Rollins heel turn. And I guess it is technically, but Seth's still going to get the cheers. He's still going to get the people singing his song. It's not going to matter. People love Paul Heyman. He's going to get everything. So how this story goes forward after last night, I'm going to be fascinated to watch. That's for sure, but I have no clue.
Yeah, I would agree with you. And, I think Seth is kind of positioning himself as the Messiah again. That was that nice little entrance wardrobe change at the start of the whole thing. So it's going to be fun. And I think it's great that Seth got the win too, because, I think a lot of people would have thought that either Roman or Punk was going to go over on this, but Seth Rollins gets a huge victory at WrestleMania. Plus, he wins the Paul Heyman sweepstakes. So, congratulations, Seth. You get the master. But just remember, Seth, he's turned on everybody else. So keep your eyes and on a head on a swivel, shall we say?
I mean,
so
he's had more turns than people have turned on Sting.
Yeah, it's pretty bad. So that was night one. I think overall mixed bag, but they did finish it right, to say the least. So good run by the big boys at the end of that thing. Now today we've got night 2 of WrestleMania as we get into this card a little bit and take it through to the end. Women's World Championship match: Io Sky, Bianca Belair, and Rhea Ripley. And by the way, Bianca has just been getting booed out of buildings all over the place. She got massively booed at SmackDown. I mean, I can tell the Europeans are around. They have fickle tastes. But what do you think about this tonight, Stu? This is going to be a fascinating battle. And by the way, our betting odds on betonline.ag do have, let's see, I think Io is the favorite. Give me 1 second. Come on, guys. There we go. Io Sky is the betting favorite at -160. Bianca Belair plus 135. They got Rhea Ripley out there at 275 plus. So, Stu, what do you got?
Bianca Belair feels like, she's got this, world title match, but she's also kind of involved the whole Naomi and Jade thing, which I think that's a big reason why she's getting the boos. It makes sense that so we did picks on my show. I picked Io. I'm sticking with Io. If for no other reason, Io is, has legitimately felt like the third wheel, and so I think they're going to keep the title on Io for a bit.
Yeah, I think they should too. She has just been more and more impressive as time has gone by. And if you would have asked me about this, say 6 months ago, if this was going to be the match, I'd be like, geez, Io's going to get buried on this thing. But she has been amazing. And I go that way too, but man, this is anybody's ball game tonight, to say the least. We also, next match, the Fatal 4-Way. For the Intercontinental title. And I think this is going to be a potential match of the night. Braun Breaker defends against Penta, Finn Balor, Dominic Mysterio. And betting lines on this one right now, believe it or not, it is Dominic Mysterio is the betting favorite, -285. Then it's Finn Balor plus 300, Penta plus 500, and the champ is at plus 575. I don't know if I agree with that one. There might be some money to make on that. Stu, what do you think?
I got the feeling Braun's not leaving with the title. I'm not, I I don't think he'll get pinned, but I don't think he's going to leave with the title. Could Dom leave with the title? That would definitely be an interesting story, especially with this simmering, tension in the Judgment Day, especially with him and Finn Balor. I don't think Finn's winning. I could see Penta winning, but I'm not completely sure on that one. So I think I might lean with what the bettors are saying.
All right. So you're picking Dominic. There's just something in my heart that tells me Finn Balor's going to get out of here. I don't know why. I just, the cocky attitude they've been having him walk around with, and I'm going to get it done. And, Dom has become, hated a fan favorite. So, man, I could just see Finn turning on Dom or something like that and walking out of here. It's going to be a fascinating match, and you got 4 great talents.
Yeah.
So I'm not gonna complain either way.
Yeah, no, I agree. It'll be a fun match. And we'll see who comes out with the IC title.
Logan Paul, AJ Styles, and Mr. Cross better be out there at some point for this match, or Las Vegas is going to riot. He lives here, if you don't know that. What do you think about this one? I have a hard time figuring out who's going to take this thing.
My heart wants AJ. Look, I am an older individual. I am in my mid-50s. I couldn't care less about Logan Paul's YouTube views or whatever you want to call it. And quite honestly, I think it would be criminal for having someone with the talent and caliber of AJ Styles taking a loss to someone that, while has some talent, doesn't have the chops, doesn't have the experience. So I hope AJ wins. I think Logan Paul, if you want to use him as the slimy heel, fine, as long as he doesn't beat AJ.
I think he's going over tonight. I think he is.
I hate to say it, but you may be right.
And the whole thing with Cross is that everybody falls apart when they get around Cross, and AJ may be the next victim of that. So I will take Logan Paul on that one. All right. We do have to get a break in. And by the way, speaking of these betting odds that we're talking about, if you go to the go to markhokeshow.com and click on the Bet Online AG banners, you can bet on wrestling too and get a 50% matching bonus up to $1,000. So if you put $1,000 on the site, you can get $500. I'm giving you $500 today. So check it out. You can bet on almost anything on the planet, from politics, wrestling, volleyball, and of course your other sports. Just take a look. You're going to be absolutely amazed. So go to markhokeshow.com, click on the banner, and head on over to Bet Online AG and make an account. All right, take a break, come back, and we will take a look at the rest of today's card at WrestleMania at Allegiant Stadium, just down the road here from the Odyssey Studios. So stick around, everybody. We'll be right back. Stu Myrick and I'm Mark Hoke, the best in pro wrestling news and entertainment. Hang around and we'll be right back.
Dear road rivals, Toyota offers tons of extra with Toyota Care. Our no-cost maintenance plan good for 2 years or 25,000 miles. No-cost oil changes, tire rotations, and more. That's a whole lot of extra at no cost from Toyota. Kia and Ford charge extra for maintenance. And that's the kind of extra nobody needs. Try harder. Toyota.
Based on manufacturer's data as of 3/4/2025, covers all factory scheduled service for 2 years or 25,000 miles, whichever occurs first. See participating dealer for coverage details.
Visit your Southern Nevada Toyota dealer today. Toyota, let's go places.
Hi, this is Manny at Fetchatech, the best plumbing and AC company here in Las Vegas. And I have to tell you that I love my dog, Ollie. And that's why we'll give you 10% off any plumbing or AC repairs if you have a pet in the house. Not kidding. At Fetchatech Air Conditioning and Plumbing, we show up on time, we keep our word, and are as loyal as your favorite dog. So what you waiting for? Call or Google Fetchatech and get an automatic 10% discount on repairs, or get a $49 AC tune-up. And as we all know, you can always trust someone who loves dogs. So call FetchAtech. We're doggone good and we're doggone fast. And if you have a pet, you get 10% off plumbing or AC repairs and a $49 tune-up. So call FetchAtech right now at 702-509-2000 or just Google FetchAtech. That's 702-509-2000 or Google FetchAtech and we'll come a running.
Service that's a breed apart. By July of 2025, nearly all Nevada employers will be required to offer a retirement plan to all employees. As a business, how do you even start? Just call the Vegas Chamber to get plugged into the Chamber's 401k plan. It's simple to administer, provides great options, and will quickly help your business meet Nevada's new retirement plan mandate. Visit vegaschamber.com to get plugged in.
Sponsored by the Vegas Chamber in cooperation with the Nevada Broadcasters Association and this station.
I had the worst dream last night. You were in a car crash and the kids and I were on our own. We had to move out of the house because I couldn't afford it anymore.
That's awful, hon.
My brother got life insurance from Ethos and it only took 10 minutes. And he got $2 million in coverage for around $2 a day. It's all online. No medical exam. He just answered a few health questions right from his house.
Ethos, here we come.
Visit ethos.com/sports. Ethos.com/sports.
Sample rate is a 10-year term life policy for 35-year-old healthy, non-smoking male. Billed monthly.
You know what's better than a limited time deal? An unlimited time deal. That's why the Wendy's $5 biggie bag with a junior bacon cheeseburger, 4-piece nugs, junior hot and crispy fries, and small soft drink is available all the time. Because the best time for fresh, never frozen beef and Applewood smoked bacon is all the time. Duh. I feel like I'm repeating myself a lot. For the best deal of all time, gotta be Wendy's.
Unlimited time does not mean forever. U.S. price and participation may vary. Prices may be higher in Alaska, Hawaii, and California via third-party delivery. Fresh beef available in the contiguous U.S., Alaska, and Canada.
1015 FM KDAWN.
You're listening to the #1 professional wrestling radio show in Vegas, The Mark Hoke Show. The Mark Hoke Show. Now, here again is Mark Hoke.
All right, one more segment of the Mark Hoke Show. Best of pro wrestling news and entertainment here on KDAWN 1015 FM. Talk of Las Vegas, also streaming on the Odyssey app and live streaming YouTube, Facebook, X. So I know there's a lot of people that are starting to join us on all those different platforms. We do appreciate you wherever you're checking us out, and just getting ready for another exciting day here in Las Vegas. Day 2 of WrestleMania. Stu Myrick with me. Stu, we got Damian Priest and Drew McIntyre in a Sin City street fight. Drew, heavy betting favorite on this. This one kind of got lost in the shuffle a little bit, I think, but should be a pretty good match.
I think it'll be fun. I think it'll be fun to see. Yes, Drew is the heavy betting favorite. I really don't have a feel on which way to go on this one. I'll just for the sake of being contrary, I'll say Damian Priest wins, but it would not shock me if Drew wins, and I'm okay with that. But hopefully it will be a lot of fun, and we'll see some brutality out of it.
Yeah, and this is another one that someone's getting knocked down the card because of this. Oh, brace yourself, guys. This is going to be a wild one over there at Allegiant Stadium. We talked about this tag team match for the WWE Women's Tag Team titles with Bayley out, looking like Becky Lynch in with Lyra Valkyria against Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez. And since we already discussed this, Stu, what's your pick?
I'm going to stick with Lyra and, her, whoever she chooses. Yeah, it could probably be Becky. I'm going to stick with them. Now so whoever wins Tuesday night has to defend the titles against Tatum Paxley and Gigi Dolan on NXT. I think it could be Lyra and Becky.
I'm going to go the other way. I don't care if Becky's in there or not. It's a thrown together tag team. I'm going to stay with the champs. Plus, Liv Morgan, by the way, is she having fun at WrestleMania week here or what? Have you seen these videos coming out, man?
Oh yeah, she is enjoying herself in Vegas.
You go, girl. All right, we've got Randy Orton in the open challenge. We don't know who this is, and now with the vignette for Malachi Black or Aleister Black, whatever he comes back as, being shown, that takes him out of this mix.
I believe it does.
Is it Rusev time?
Oh man, it's possible. it is a possibility. If you believe the talk around the campfire, I'll shout out my good friend Mike Johnson from PW Insider. He is officially signed with WWE. In fact, apparently CJ Perry has signed a Legends deal, and allegedly those two might be back together. I don't know if that's the case.
Yeah, they're back together. They've fixed their relationship, so good for them.
We see Rusev answer the challenge. Possibly. The kicker is, I don't know. I mean, I guess you would. I don't know who you would have go over on that one, because
yeah,
you
it's
got
tough.
Rusev re-debuting. You don't want him taking a loss, but Randy Orton's so popular, you don't want him taking a loss. Could you? I mean, Solo Sikoa doesn't have a match. There is, I guess, there's a little bit of a tie-in, I guess, but that would be an easy one where Randy could get the win. I can't think of anybody actually, a name that just popped in my head. Now, this is, you talk about a long shot, but he just finished up with New Japan.
No. Say it.
Could we see Jeff Cobb? Allegedly, he's heading to WWE. I think that would be, now, I know Jeff. Jeff is one of the best dudes out there. Not to mention, I will say to this day, he is probably the strongest individual in pro wrestling. I don't care what brand you say.
Wow, over Powerhouse Hobbs?
Yes.
All right.
Yes. I've seen the man. So this was 2017. It was him, Lance Archer, and MJF in a match at Wrestle Circus. And basically, Lance and Jeff played several rounds of how far can we toss MJF.
Yeah, Cobb is definitely a monster. That would be an interesting one. I got to tell you, they got me befuddled on this one. We'll find out who Randy Orton's opponent is going to be tonight.
Yep.
And then, of course, the main event, Cody Rhodes, John Cena for the undisputed WWE Championship. And by the way, kudos to Cody at SmackDown, because they were booing him too. And then that midway through the promo, when he went off on John Cena, everybody started cheering again. But man, that almost went off the rails. I mean, dangerous situation for WWE on that one, to have Cody and John both getting the boos.
Yeah, I think that was a result of having, it was the SmackDown before WrestleMania, so you had an assorted crowd, shall we say. It wasn't your typical SmackDown crowd. I have stood by Cody Rhodes this entire time. I will still stand by him. I think I have voiced my theory about having Cody go over and Rock attacks John Cena post-match, and we get Rock and Cena down the road, whether it's at SummerSlam or something else, to renew that rivalry. I think John Cena could still get his 17th world title. It would be whoever takes the title off Jey Uso, because I think I get the feeling Jey Uso will have it won't be a really brief, but I think he could lose the title in the next couple months.
Yeah, I would agree. That's a possibility too. I think John is going to get the win. I just have a feeling there's going to be some sort of crazy thing at the end with The Rock too. But I'm feeling John Cena is going to win, and we're going to put Cody Rhodes back in chase mode. And by the way, John is a pretty big favorite on this right now, minus 425, Cody plus 265. So you Cody Rhodes fans out there that think Cody's going to get out of here with the undisputed championship, there's a shot for you to cash in a little bit. But it's going to be a fascinating match tonight. And just the way the crowds have been too, who knows what's going to take place in there. I mean, everybody's just been all over. They were all over the place last night.
Well, and that's the thing. I think that match, if it suffers from anything, it would be from everybody anticipating what happens at the end. So until we get towards the end, I think the crowd's going to be interesting. Let's just say interesting. And then let's see what happens at the end, whether there's run-ins from Rock or Travis Scott, which if there is, I hope Cody smacks the hell out of him. course, the rumor has been going around, could Stone Cold Steve Austin insert himself? Hey, I don't know.
Just wait and see, kids. It is going to be one hell of a night at WrestleMania. And Stu, I want to thank you for joining me here on the Mark Hoke Show. Make sure you check out his show, Sports Guys Talking Wrestling, and it is available on the Odyssey app. Yes. So check that out and give Stu a follow at Stu Myrick, STEWMYRICK. Guys, that's it. We will see you down at Allegiant Stadium for night 2 of WrestleMania. It should be a spectacular evening, and we hope you all enjoy yourselves. Be safe out there, and we'll catch you next time on the Mark Hoke Show here on KDAWN 101.5 FM, the talk of Las Vegas. Follow us on X at Mark Hoke Show, Facebook, the Mark Hoke Show, YouTube, the Mark Hoke Show, and it's Mark Hoke Show on Instagram and TikTok as well. So get on there. All right, guys, we'll see you down at Allegiant Stadium. Have a great day, Las Vegas, and happy Easter. Want more of The Mark Hoke Show? Follow us on Twitter at Mark Hoke Show, like us on Facebook at The Mark Hoke Show, and visit markhokeshow.com to keep up with everything happening with the show. And remember to check out all of our archive shows on YouTube at The Mark Hoke Show, and download our podcasts at markhokeshow.podbean.com and all your favorite podcast outlets. So join The Mark Hoke Show family today, and thanks for listening.